Psalm verses 77 and 78 complete from the Book of Psalms of the Bible. Welcome to Prayer with God. Subscribe to channel to receive daily meditations of the Word of God. Psalm 77. I cry to God for help. I call on God to listen to me. When I am distressed, I seek the Lord. At night I hold out my hands without ceasing. My soul is inconsolable. I remember you, O God, and sigh. I begin to meditate, and my spirit fades. Do not allow me to close my eyes, so restless I can't talk. I keep thinking about the days that are gone, and years long ago. At night I remember my songs. My heart is meditating, and my spirit asks, will the Lord reject us forever? Will you ever show us your favor again? Is your love gone forever? Is your promise over? Has God forgotten to be merciful? In your anger did you restrain your compassion? So I thought, the reason for my pain is that the right hand of the Most High no longer acts. I will remember the deeds of the Lord. I will remember your ancient miracles. I will meditate on all your works, and I will consider all your achievements. Thy ways, O God, are holy. What God is as great as our God? You are the God who works miracles. You show your power among the peoples. With your strong arm you rescued your people, the descendants of Jacob and Joseph. The waters have seen you, O God. The waters have turned and writhed. Even the abysses trembled. The clouds poured rain. Thunder resounded in the heavens. Your arrows sparkled in every direction. In the whirlwind, your thunder thundered. Your lightning has illuminated the world. The earth trembled and shook. Your path passed by the sea, your way through the mighty waters, and no one saw your footprints. You led your people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. Psalm 78. My people, hear my teaching. Bow your ears for what I have to say. In parables I will open my mouth. I will utter riddles of the past, what we hear and learn, what our parents told us. We will not hide them from our children. We'll tell the next generation the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord, its power and the wonders it has done. He decreed statutes for Jacob, and in Israel established the law, and commanded our ancestors to teach her children, so that the next generation would know it, and also the children who would still be born, and they, in turn, tell their own children. Then they will put their trust in God, will not forget their deeds, and obey His commandments. They will not be like their ancestors, stubborn and rebellious, people of disloyal heart to God, people of unfaithful spirit. The men of Ephraim, armed archers, turned their backs on the day of the battle, did not keep the covenant of God, and refused to live according to their law. They forgot what He had done, the wonders He had shown them. He performed miracles before His ancestors in the land of Egypt in the region of Zoan. Divided the sea so that they could pass, made the water rise like a wall. He guided them with the cloud by day and with the night fire light. Cracked the rocks in the desert and gave them so much water as that which flows from the depths. Of stone made streams come out and flow water like a river. But against Him they continued to sin, revolting in the desert against the Most High. They deliberately tested God, demanding what they wanted to eat. They doubted God, saying, can God prepare a table in the desert? We know that when He struck the rock, the water sprouted and gushed in torrents. But can you also feed us? Can He supply His people with flesh? The Lord heard them and became angry. With fire attacked Jacob, and His anger rose up against Israel, for they did not believe in God nor did they trust their saving power. Yet He gave orders to the clouds and opened the gates of heaven, easy rain manna for the people to eat, gave Him the bread of heaven. Men have eaten the bread of angels, sent them food at will. Sent from the heavens the eastern wind, and by His power He advanced the south wind. rained flesh upon them like dust, flocks of birds as the beach sand. It drove them into the camp, around their tents. They ate at will, and so he satisfied their desire. But before they quenched their appetite, when they still had food in their mouth, the wrath of God was kindled against them, and he struck the strongest among them with death, killing the youth of Israel. Nevertheless, they continued to sin, did not believe in their wonders. That's why he closed their days like a breath and their years in sudden dread. Whenever God punished them with death, they were looking for him, fervently turned to him again. They remembered that God was their rock, that the Most High God was their Redeemer. With the mouth they flattered him, with the tongue deceived him, their hearts were not sincere, were not faithful to their covenant. Yet he was merciful, forgave them the evils, and did not destroy them. Time after time held his wrath, without fully awakening her. He remembered that they were mere mortals, passing breeze that does not return. How many times have they been rebellious against him in the desert and made him sad in the lonely land? Again and again they put God to the test, angered the Holy One of Israel. They did not remember his powerful hand, the day he redeemed them from the oppressor, of the day he showed his wonders in Egypt, its wonders in the region of Zoan, when he transformed the rivers and the streams of the Egyptians in blood, and they could no longer drink from its waters, and he sent swarms of flies who devoured them, and frogs that devastated them, when he gave his crops to the larvae, the production of land for locusts, and he destroyed his vineyards with a hail and their fig trees wild with frost, when he delivered their cattle to the hail, their flocks to the rays, when he struck them with his burning anger, with fury, indignation, and hostility, with many destroying angels. And he went to his wrath, did not spare them from death, but delivered them to the plague. He killed all the firstborn of Egypt, the firstfruits of manly vigor of the tents of Ham. But he took away his people like sheep and led him like a flock through the desert. He guided them safely, and they were not afraid, and his enemies sank into the sea. So he brought them to the border of his holy land, the hills his right hand conquered. There were nations there, distributed the lands to them by inheritance, and gave his tents to the tribes of Israel to dwell in them. But they put God to the test and rebelled against the Most High, did not obey their testimonies. They were disloyal and unfaithful, like their ancestors, reliable as a faulty ark. They irritated him with the idolatrous altars, with his idols made him jealous. God blessed him, he became angry and totally rejected Israel. He left the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tent where he dwelt among men. He gave the symbol of his power to captivity and its splendor in the hands of the adversary. He killed his people by the sword, for he was angry at his inheritance. The fire consumed their young men, and their young women had no wedding songs. The priests were slain by the sword. Widows couldn't even cry anymore. Then the Lord awoke as if from a sleep, as a warrior awakened from the dominion of wine. If your opponents fall back to blows and gave them permanent humiliation. He also rejected the tents of Joseph and chose not the tribe of Ephraim, but he chose the tribe of Judah and Mount Zion, which he loved. He built his sanctuary like heights, as the earth has established it forever. He took his servant David and took him from the fold of the sheep, the herding of sheep, to be the shepherd of Jacob, his people, of Israel, his inheritance. And David shepherded them with an upright heart, with experienced hands led them. Subscribe to channel to receive daily meditations of the Word of God.